Let's go back to Vice President Dick Cheney. You believe that he destroyed his visitors' logs because they were going to reveal some connection to the D.C. madam?
Well, from what I understand from people I've spoken to here, now understand there's a court order by a federal judge not that the madam and her attorney cannot release any more information about those phone records. She's deliberating that. Now, I think it's funny that last week, just prior to the judge's order expiring at 6 minutes to midnight, the government came in to file its motion to keep the gag order in place. And they didn't file any affidavits that would say, well, why would this cause harm to release the information? It's a very weak case on the part of the government. They're obviously very panicked what may be in these records for good reason, because I've been told by very many reputable sources that when he was the head of Halliburton and lived here in McLean, Virginia, part-time, Dick Cheney, his numbers turn up on the D.C. madam's phone list.
You know, we'd certainly hate to see these numbers show up on the Internet. What Dick Cheney has done is claimed executive privilege for destroying the visitors' logs. We don't know what they'd turn up because we haven't seen them. If they actually indeed have been destroyed and cannot be accessed, is this executive privilege, or has there been a crime committed?
Well, either way, I mean, he's claiming executive privilege. Fine. If he's going to claim that, and I think it's debatable whether he can do that, those records are covered under the Presidential Records Act, which means that eventually they would go into the archives. Those records cannot be destroyed. That's a crime to destroy those records. This would be like Nixon destroying all the tapes when he was ordered to hand them over. This is also a pending court case because the records have been asked for by a couple of groups here in Washington. So he can't have it both ways. Either they're covered under the Freedom of Information Act, which means that they cannot be destroyed, or they're covered under the Presidential Records Act. Either way, they're not allowed to be destroyed. And if he's ordered the destruction of those records, he's committed a crime.
Well, how serious is that crime?
It's a very serious crime because this is the whole basis for freedom of information, the archiving of government records for future use by historians, and it's a very serious thing.
My former party, the Democratic Party, are they investigating this?
Well, they should be, but as I've been told, anything associated with the escort list may involve some Democrats as well. As we know, the chairman of Disney, of course owns ABC. The chairman of Disney is George Mitchell, the former Democratic leader in the Senate, and he played an important part in kiboshing the story. So we've got a case here where the Washington elite, the Washington Post, the Democrats and the Republicans are basically cooperating in killing this story.
Is this reminiscent at all of the D.C. Page Boy scandal of the early 90s?
Yeah, every 10 years we seem to have an explosion here of this type of sex scandal involving prostitutes, either women or homosexuals, male homosexuals, and this is just another indication. But I think what makes this more serious is that this is tied directly into the investigation of Abramoff and his influence peddling, which we know now went far beyond getting free meals at Signature's restaurant, his restaurant in Washington, and expanded to bribery and also the providing of prostitutes.
Well, Wayne, this is one place where we can see that both parties have finally found common ground in blocking this investigation. Wayne Madsen, what else can you add before we have to go?
Well, I've got a story up today where I've basically narrowed in with working with this gag order by the federal judge, narrowed in the phone list. We've got a number that's on the escort phone list that is in the same office that Dick Cheney used at McLean, that was later used by the Bush-Cheney transition team in 2000. Interestingly enough, the office building that rented the space is the West Group, and the vice president for marketing of that company is none other than Alice Starr, the wife of former Monica Gate independent counsel Kenneth Starr.
Wayne, looks like we've got some breaking news here, and hopefully somebody's going to do an investigation on this. Wayne Madsen, the Wayne Madsen Report. New website?
A new website had to go some paid had to provide, paid content because the big boys were stealing and not giving, in many cases, not giving credit. And but it's sort of like based on the salon model. We'll see how it works. Hopefully, we'll be able to keep going here.
Wayne Madsen, thanks for joining us on INN.
Good to be with you.